The All Blacks, they recently beat Wales. Now their next challenge is going to be the Scottish. In this video, we are going to be trying to predict the All Blacks starting lineup and reserves that go head-to-head with the strong Scotland side. But it is myself, it is Rugbyitch. First of all, mate, what did you think of the All Blacks' performance up against Wales? One of the more one-sided of the international fixtures we saw throughout the weekend.
Yeah, they essentially demolished Wales. Literally, it was really the only game that was really a large margin compared to all the other games that we saw throughout the weekend. So yeah, they made a statement in terms of that performance, and yeah, I was really impressed by a lot of the players.
But now the question is, will they stick with those same key players in their game up against Scotland? Or are we going to see a whole new look side similar to what they did up against the Japanese? I don't think it will be to the same extent, but maybe a few changes get thrown in there for the All Blacks. But nonetheless, we will jump straight into it. Your front row, who have you got that you have got starting up against the Scottish?
Yeah, so for my front row, I've gone with, I wanted to make changes here, but I've actually only made one change to what the All Blacks selected for that Welsh game. So I have gone with the likes of even the Groot at number 1. But yeah, for my one change here, I've actually gone with Samasoli Takalaho to start this game against Scotland at number 2. And for number 3, I've gone with Tyrell Lomax. So yeah, that's kind of the I've only made one change there. I think that's kind of reasonable for that front row because I thought they did a pretty good job actually in winning one of those scrum penalties. So yeah, I believe Takalaho should be able to get some minutes in this game.
Righty. So for myself, I have actually gone with an identical front row to what they had up against Wales. I've got a bit of reasoning behind it, but Ethan de Groot number 1, Cody Taylor number 2, and then number 3, Tyrell Lomax. So the reason I've gone with Cody Taylor is the All Blacks are struggling a little bit for hookers in terms of who their top 3 are. Currently, Dane Cole's out with the injury. Asafa Amua making his way into the sides. But other than the 3 that they've got at the moment, they don't really have too many backups. So while Cody Taylor is playing kind of well, I've decided I'm going to leave him out there and try and keep that vein of form going, possibly building into that Rugby World Cup in 2023. And then Lomax and de Groot, like you mentioned, they've been doing very well in the front row. The preferred choice, in fact, for a lot of All Black supporters over the last few months. But now looking through at the locks, I've gone unchanged from last week. Sam Whitelock at number 4 and Scott Barrett number 5. I could have made a switch, maybe adding Tupavai into the mix, but I decided instead to go with the experience and the 2 Crusaders locking partners.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot. I have actually made one change here. I feel like it was kind of a good game to do it in because I know the All Blacks, they only, they play against Scotland, and I think they only have one more game after, right, against England. So it feels a bit short, actually, their schedule. I don't know why compared to the other Southern Hemisphere squads. But, I've actually made a change here. I have stuck with Whitelock at number 4, but I have gone with Tupavai at number 5 because I just feel like it's a good opportunity for him to get minutes. And I feel like he's more likely to start against Scotland than he is against England. So that's the only reason why I've kind of gone for him in this game to start.
Righty, so now we move on to the loose forward trio. Now, we did see Dalton Papali'i get himself that chance at number 7 for the most recent fixture. Ardie Savia still at 8 for the ABs. Who have you got as the loose forward trio? Have you got those 2 names that I just mentioned?
Yes and no, maybe not. Yeah, no. For number 6, I have gone with the likes of Shana Rizal. It was one of those ones where I wanted to go with Akira, but I thought Rizal on the day was just brilliant for the All Blacks. I really thought he did his job. Really it was like a 10 out of 10 performance, really, in my perspective. So I think you have to keep him in. Yeah, for number 7, I went with Dalton Papali'i. It was a tough call, of course, because there are other players you can go with. You can shift, obviously, Sevilla towards the 7 spot to maybe put a 2-2 in. But I felt, I have gone with Sevilla number 8, but I feel like you just can't go. You can't really change Sevilla from the number 8 spot after that performance he did against Wales. I just thought it was really a dominant performance, and I feel like if you shift him, it kind of just will he'll maybe lose a bit of momentum from what he kind of gained from that performance. So I have gone with the likes of Dalton Papali'i at number 7, and again, I thought he was pretty good throughout the game. He didn't make as much of an impact as I'd like, but he made a few good runs, particularly that one run where he kind of broke the defense and kind of did a little sidestep. But yeah, other than that, that's the loose forward trio. So that's it.
Okay, so just to confirm, your comment of yes and no meant yes?
Yes.
Just making sure. I have gone with very similar to yourself. I've got Papali'i at 7. I've got Ardie Savia at 8, but I did actually make the change at number 6. I've given Akira Ioane the chance. Mainly because I want to make sure that if Shannon Frizzell's in good form, he's ready for the game up against the English, because I think New Zealand really will need to muscle up in that loose forward trio. You don't want to risk an injury in this game up against Scotland. You've still got to have a class player there, though, because Scotland have got a very good loose forward trio of their own. So, yeah, I've gone with the 2 Blues and the Hurricanes player as my loose forward trio. But now we move on to the back line. Number 9, I've stuck with Aaron Smith. Felt he had a tremendous game up against Wales, and I want to see him still building each and every week heading into that English clash. And then at number 10, I've stuck with him. I've gone Richie Mo'unga. I actually mentioned in the last video that I was going to have Beauden Barrett as my starting 10 for this match, and then I would have Richie Mo'unga again for England perhaps. But we didn't really predict that Beauden Barrett was going to be playing 15 for that last contest. So that kind of changes the perspective a little bit for myself. So yeah, I did go with him as the number 10, Richie Mo'unga.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. Yeah, same as you. I've gone with Aaron Smith at number 9. I think you had to him, and he had a really superb performance, I'd say, throughout the day against Wales. I mean, 2 tries of his own, like really quick as well. Both tries. I think they were scored like in the space of like 6 minutes. It was crazy. But no, he was brilliant on the day. So yeah, he's my number 9. But for number 10, again, I wanted to go with Beauden Barrett here, but I kind of reverted back towards Richie Mo'unga. I just believe he was good in that position. He was really creative in terms of the attacking plays. So yeah, I got to go with Mo'unga there.
Okay, so now we will go on to the centres. This will be an interesting one because Geordie Barrett, he played 12 last week. Like we mentioned, that is another option that you could go with in the Scottish game. You've got Havili, Anton Leonard-Brown's available, Braden Ennor, and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck both going back to the All Blacks 15. So it makes it a little bit lighter for the choices. But who have you got as your inside and outside centres?
Yeah, for me, this is probably the toughest part, I'd say, of this one, just because, like you said, Geordie had a really good game for the All Blacks in that first game against the Welsh. But I've actually reverted back towards David Havili. I mean, I hope this is right, because I mean, Havili on the day is obviously brilliant for the All Blacks, and we saw that throughout the Rugby Championship. So hopefully he can kind of get into this game, because I think he wasn't even selected for that first game. So I guess he was getting rested, I assume. So yeah, I'm going to go with Havili, and then I'm going to go with Ray Kalawani and number 13 jersey.
Okay.
Ooh,
that sounds like maybe. Is that a sign?
Yeah, maybe I didn't like the selection. Yeah, maybe I should go with Geordie now.
Although once you hear mine, you're probably going to need that ambulance. I have gone with a midfield combo that they have never gone with before. I decided I had to make some changes. I didn't want it completely the same as what I had up against Wales. So for me,
I want to guess it. I want to guess before you say it. Is it Geordie Barrett and Anton Leonard-Brown?
It is.
Oh,
that is the combination.
Okay. I didn't think it would be that. Okay, yeah.
I don't think many people have thought of that combination. So I decided, why not maybe give it a go? It doesn't seem completely unlikely. In fact, for the Scottish game, probably the most likely it's ever going to be. Geordie Barrett, number 12. Number 13, Anton Leonard-Brown. Bit of size for Barrett. Nice bit of a thinking brain on Leonard-Brown on the outside. And I also needed Rieko Ioane somewhere else in my starting lineup. So I'm going to do it once again. The back 3. I try it every time. They never do it, but eventually they will. Number 11, Rieko Ioane. Caleb Clarke, I felt he really didn't shine in that first game up against Wales. Quite a few handling errors, just never really got himself into the contest. And I believe he was nursing a bit of an injury in the process, which is why I was so surprised that they took Leicester Fainanuku out of the side and put him in the All Blacks 15, because I thought he might have had the crack up against the Scottish. But yeah, Rieko Ioane out on that left wing. I think he could be very dangerous in those one-on-one challenges, more than likely going up against Darcy Graham. I think you could beat him for pace on the outside. And that's why Rieko Ioane does get that left wing spot. Plus, it gives you a little bit of cover in the midfield if you do need it due to an injury, anything along those lines. Then out on the right wing, I have gone with Will Jordan. We're still not sure whether or not he will be back, pun intended. So it is currently the next day from when we filmed, and unfortunately we saw the news a little bit late that Will Jordan is ruled out for the whole of the end of year international tour. So we did decide we would refilm just this very short part of the video. My number 14 is no longer Will Jordan. Instead, I am going to be going with Sevu Reece as that option, just because it's a lot more likely, seeing as he's with the squad. And then number 15, I've gone Beauden Barrett again. If they're going to do it, they've got to do it right, and they've got to stick with them. Because if they're looking at that plan for the Rugby World Cup, I don't want to see them kind of half do it, then go, maybe not, and then wait about 6 months and then go, we'll try that again, just to see how it goes, see if it's ready for those big matches of the World Cup. But yeah, Beauden Barrett, number 15, final answer.
Well, yeah, no, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we have 3 different people.
I was expecting that.
No, we do have one person. We do have one person to send. But no, for number 11, I actually have gone with Sevu Reece here instead of Caleb Clarke. It was one of those decisions similar to you, just where Caleb Clarke on the day just didn't, I don't know, he just didn't perform as well as as I thought. And yeah, he made a few mistakes in terms of, like, I don't know, dropping the ball when he had a perfect opportunity. So I feel like Sarah Reese can maybe be the glue in terms of that 11 spot. Well, with Will Jordan officially out, to both of our knowledge now, I've actually gone with Mark Talea in this position. I feel like it's a good opportunity for him to maybe get his debut for the All Blacks. I know it's kind of, I'm thrusting him kind of into the light essentially of this game, but I feel like it's a good opportunity for him. You know, I can't see him playing against England unless there's a massive amount of injuries within that position. So I feel like this could be a good moment for him to maybe get his debut for the All Blacks.
Was it also because you had Sever Reese at number 11? So it would have been more of a hassle to change that as well.
It would have been really weird if I put Martelea has played at number 11 at points for the Blues, but again, I think it just makes more sense to go with Talea, because if I didn't go with him, then I kind of have to like reshuffle the team, like put like maybe like Geordie at 14, then maybe put Bowden at 15. Then I don't know. It's a weird one, but no, I'm gonna stick to Martelea there. Again, it could be wrong. I'm purely just going with Martelea just because obviously with the news of Will Jordan out, we're just doing the last minute switch and might as well mention his name obviously for this game. Number 15 jersey, of course, last one. This is where I had a tough choice in either going for Bowden Barrett or either going for Geordie Barrett, but I actually went with, oh my gosh, the Sirens are back here again. My gosh, they don't like it when I talk about Geordie Barrett. Maybe there's just something against Geordie Barrett.
Maybe it's a sign that he's going to get injured. That would be really weird if he actually does now.
Actually, might be the sign. But no, I actually have gone with Geordie Barrett here. So hopefully, the Sirens are okay with that. But I have gone with Geordie Barrett here, and it's one of those where, again, I could have gone with Bowden because I actually thought on the day Bowden actually played pretty well the number 15 jersey.
So yeah, a few changes in our backlines between us. So hopefully one of us can get it 100% on the money. I have a very big prediction. It's not going to be me, but we'll have to wait and see, of course. Now,
I think it could be you. I think it could be
you. Think?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I think the Reiko one is a bit off, but I think other than that, I think I like the prediction of Geordie Barrett and Antonio Brown because that's a cool combination that they could try out and it could work.
So now the bench. I've made a lot of changes off my bench players as well, to be honest, but I will let you go first. 16, 17, 18, who have you got as those three positions?
Yeah, so number 16, I kept it kind of safe in this. I could have gone with Safa more if I wanted to, but I chose to go with Cody Taylor. Again, like you said, the reason why you started him, I thought he was actually good on the day. So again, I just think he can make an impact off the bench. For number 17, I have actually gone with George Bauer here, his Crusaders teammate. And of course, finish it off, I have gone with the likes of Opportune Fassi at the number 18 spot. So again, I think it's kind of a standard selection there. I didn't make many bold calls. I mean, I could have gone with the likes. I was considering Nepalala if he would, but because we all know that Ian Foster is somehow he loves Nepalala. Like I think he puts him up in every squad. But no, for this time he just doesn't cut it for me.
So number 16, I have gone to suffer more. I mentioned about that depth, trying to build it a little bit for the Hookers of New Zealand. That sounds like a different organisation than the number 16 and 2 spot. But suffer more. He's a beast when he's out on the field. Bulldozers over opposition, and I hope he gets a few minutes under his belt at international level. In the near future, number 17, I've gone with George Bauer, so similar to yourself. Okay. I am giving him a crack. And then at number 18, I have gone Nepalala, just because I feel it's probably due for a game relatively soon. I could easily see it being off Toinga Fassi, though, but it seems like now he has been slotting in more as a loose head prop than a tight head in the last couple of weeks. It would be something that they look to do in the future with Ofa Toinga Fassi, because I guess they are lacking a little bit of depth in that loose head prop role. They did have Aiden Ross at one point, didn't they? Or he was playing for the All Blacks 15. Maybe gets himself a call-up in the near future. But for now, I think they're just going with what they've got. And Toinga Fassi, I guess, is best suited for that loose head prop role. Now looking through at the rest of the replacement forwards, number 19, jumping straight into it, Tupavai as my number 19 option. And then number 20, I have actually gone with Hoskins Tutu. So it's a bold call to completely leave Shannon Frizzell out. I thought about Billy Harmon maybe getting the crack, but I went with Hoskins Tutu. And hopefully it works out. The thing is, if Hoskins Tutu makes his way out onto the field, you've got the option of a reshuffle. Maybe Savia does pop into 7 for a little bit of time, or they just give Artie Savia half a game, have him fired up and rearing to go up against the English and in next week's contest. So, yeah, a couple young players. Hopefully they do get themselves the chance.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. For myself, I do believe I have 2 changes compared to you this time. I did the number 19 spot. Actually, I have Scott Barrett here, of course, as I did start Tupavai. for this game. And for number 20, this is where I have Akira Ione to come off the bench because, again, he can cover at 6, even 7 or 8. He's very versatile in that sense. So that's kind of the reason why I've set him there. So, hopefully he can get some minutes on the board because I would like to see him kind of make more of an impact for the All Blacks because it's one of those where I'm unsure if he'll I'm unsure if he'll get that 6 jersey against England because I think Brazil has just been really good at the moment. So hopefully Akira can kind of put his name out there in terms of trying to go for that jersey as well.
Okay, I've got a fun question for you.
Shoot.
Okay, percentage-wise, this is going to be interesting. What is the percentage chance that we see Billy Harmon in either the starting lineup or reserves up against Scotland? What's your number for the percentage?
Oh, I mean, that's the thing is I consider... Gosh, I mean, it's gonna happen. Because we both haven't selected him, and we're terrible at this. It's gonna happen.
You think by now we'd be a little bit better, but we're just not. We just keep getting them wrong.
I'm gonna say it's like a 70% chance that it happens, like something like that. Because
70.
Yeah. It's one of those like where the 30% is like knowing us. We're predicting him not to be in the squad, but I feel he has a good chance because again, why would he bring Billy Harmon in if you're not going to give him some minutes? It's one of those situations, but at the same time, they bring in Mark Talia and he still hasn't had any minutes for the All Blacks. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Well, maybe he's just there to kind of help in terms of the training. I know it kind of sounds a bit bad, but obviously you need players obviously to kind of support the starting. So I think he may get it though. We'll have to see.
So it's normally yourself who does end up saying statements, and then they end up kind of coming true, whether it is to do with a player not being selected. So for me, I'm going to try and be that guy this week. 7% chance that Billy Harmon gets selected. Very rare chance.
I like that.
I'm hoping that it reverses and he does get the opportunity because I love watching him play for the Highlanders. So I'm hoping this is like some reverse psychology. Ian, if you're watching, just do it. See how he goes. But nonetheless, jumping into the back line. Who we got? Is number 21, 22, 23 to close out your AB side.
Yeah, it's for number 21. Originally, I wanted to go with Brad Weber here, but of course, he has been now put with the All Blacks XV squad. So, for this time, I actually have gone with Finley Christie here. Again, he didn't, I think within that game against Japan, I mean, we both kind of said it, he didn't really make as much of an impact as we'd like to see. So, hopefully, he can kind of redeem himself within this game against Scotland. And of course, he has a bit of a Scottish blood within him. So, he'll be back home. So, in that sense. So hopefully he can kind of muster up, a performance in the half and obviously just prove all the Scottish fans wrong. And he's like, yeah, I'm from the All Blacks. That's right. He's definitely going to do that. I can see him saying that already. But yeah, Finley Christie there. For number 22, I have gone with the likes of Bowden Barrett here as cover. And for number 23, this is actually where I put Alexander Brown. I thought he was pretty impressive throughout that game. I know he obviously came off the bench, but still throughout the period of time he was given, I thought first game in a while, I thought he was pretty decent. So that's the reason why he's in number 23.
Okay, so we actually have 3 differences here. Number 21 for myself, I have gone with TJ Perenara. I know he was brought into the side, and I assume the reason for that is because they want to give him a few games at international level again, just to see if he is up to the task of being there in the future. Number 22, I went with Stephen Perofeta. I decided I would give him a crack. He's my fly half cover, and hopefully he does get that opportunity. He hasn't had too many of them. He had the 42nd debut. He had the match up against Japan, which he didn't really shine the way we thought he would, but that might just be because he hasn't had too much time out there on the field. So maybe this game might be able to get himself a few more minutes at the end. And then number 23, I guess the replacement inside centre, if they need him, David Harvili is the last man. And my All Blacks side.
Actually. Yeah, good cover.
So I've got a majority of the players you would expect to see there just completely rearranged, flipped on their heads, and just pretty much a jumbled mess, I guess is the best way to describe my side. But hopefully, well, actually, I don't know whether I want to be close. Because
exactly. I was like, do you want to be close? I'm not sure. But it would be good to see Rake on the wing, though. I would like to see that if that actually does happen. But I don't know. I just don't feel that I'm not really confident in that prediction of yours. But other than that, I think the predictions you've made actually are pretty. I like them a lot, actually. Particularly they'll have Vili on the bench and your center choices. I think is the ones that, hey, if that happens, that would be brilliant to actually watch. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, indeed. So the All Blacks, they will be announcing their side on Thursday. And that's still a few days away. We're filming this quite early on in the week, so we don't know the extent of injuries. We don't know whether or not there are certain players who aren't quite feeling that match fitness that they want. So there could be a few changes compared to what we have gone with, compared to what the ABs have done. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Let us know in the comments who you would have in your All Black starting lineup and reserves up against the Scottish. Big thanks to Rugbyitch once again. You can find his channel link in the description below. Thank you all very much for tuning in, and we will see you all for the next one.
Oh, I keep it. There you go. Oh my! No, I don't want it. No, no, he's too perfect.
You don't want a finger tug furlong?
No, that's a.